so we're working on the headliner shelf, and we were thinking, wow, I was thinking that, yeah, we are gonna cut like a, I don't know, like an inch stripe here, so that we can place a wood that will lean on this part, which is very sturdy, and then we can like screw it in there maybe. Yeah, and that'll basically just wedge along those lines, and then also on the other side, and then we're gonna cut the wood out that it like fits nice and snug along here. Yeah, and so we're trying to do that right now. Here we're gonna place some speakers somehow with a like little wood construction. What?
Probably not that one right there.
What do you mean?
There's gonna be a cabinet wall here.
True, yes, there's gonna be a wall, so the speaker's probably gonna be here, and then the other one is gonna be there. So that's the plan for now. Let's see if that will work. This is our progress of our little shelf. We already cut this piece that is gonna go underneath. Yeah, we just don't have it in the van right now, but just testing out the things. That looks a little weird, but it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna paint this wall and paint those things, wrap this in fabric from the top, from underneath, and other than that, we did some layout stuff just to kind of see where the furring strips are gonna go. Okay, now we are on the final stages of this headliner shelf. We kind of stapled some fabric there, so we can make this all look nice in the end, but now we're screwing things down. We just put down the first 3 little screws that are attached to this one that is like sitting between the ribs, and yeah, and then we're also gonna attach this and so on and so forth. We also put up our first wall that is gonna be painted, but also it's just gonna be the back of our big storage that is gonna go this whole side up until here. And we built a battery board where all like this electrical stuff is gonna go. We'll install that later. I'm just gluing a little last piece on there right now. Here it continues in a hillbilly style shelf. Yeah, now we're screwing this thing down, and yeah, so this is the inside fabric, and you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, no one sees behind there. And this is also, we cannot really staple that here, it's just too tight. But we are going to staple this down to there, and then there's going to be another piece of wood in front of it, and then the speaker box panels that are going to cover all of this. Yes. Is that all? All the screws?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This doesn't look great, but you know, we don't care.
It'll be covered.
Yes. This is where we're at right now, and now we're gonna put up a nicer piece that is kind of a spacer between that, and is gonna cover this. mostly. Yes. And it's not, yeah, it's just gonna be flush up here with this. And yeah, we had to fix something here so it's not completely flush with this, but that's fine because that looks nice. Okay, we aborted that mission because we figured so it doesn't line up as well as we planned it to be or whatever. So we just unscrewed this. We are gonna cover this part. Yeah, just with some heat glue because it's gonna be impossible to staple it from there because our staple doesn't do a good job, so we also have to hammer it down, as you saw. Yeah, gonna take a little longer than we thought it would be. Classic. Now we did it this way. Fabric on the top and flesh on the bottom. And now we're putting the speaker up. This is kind of like, yeah, flush on here, and here it goes all the way into that nook. It's sitting on there. Is it sitting on there?
No,
Oh,
it's not sitting on there.
there.
It's sitting on here.
Yeah. Exciting! Woohoo! It's pretty stable for only being held by 2 screws, but it doesn't need to carry weight at all. So, yes. And eventually this wall is gonna be attached somehow. And this is the edge. We're gonna screw in this part as well. All this is gonna be invisible because of our counter thing. All the way flush. Make it all the way flush. See? No. What is with this? What's with this? Oh. This is better. Hey, just a little disclaimer, we did not film everything for that diesel heater, but yeah, we have some pictures and I'm gonna try to explain a little bit to those. So yeah, this is where it goes in our place. It's underneath the passenger seat. You just have to make sure it fits in there, and then that you can drill some holes in there. You need to drill 2 big holes and 4 or 5 small holes. The big ones is the intake, the air intake, and the exhaust is the other one. And then just like some screw holes and the fuel intake. This is how it looks in the back, like from underneath the van. That's with the heater on there already. That's how it sits in there. It's pretty tight, but it's totally fine. Here you see that metal plate that we somehow did not use. Kevin said that he did some research and people did not use it, so you make your own decision. I hope it's not gonna burn anything. So we made another hole through the seat to the front, so that's where the warm air goes. And now Kevin will show you all the nitty-gritty stuff happening underneath the van.
Got the diesel heater installed here under the passenger seat. There's the seat. And it goes under here. It's got its own exhaust system. That's a little muffler. And there's an air intake. And I still need to do the electrical. That'll come later. And the fuel line. Spent a lot of time down here lately, but I think I'm done setting up the diesel heater. Fuel source, I tapped into this auxiliary fuel line. This is a fuel line, and this is the fuel pump here for this auxiliary heater that our van has for helping warm up the engine on cold days. I didn't want to mess with the main fuel lines, which are, I can't see here. So yeah, it was nice that we had this auxiliary line. I teed off of that. There's the fuel filter. There's our fuel pump. Power for the pump I had to send through this weird rubber boot thing up under the driver's seat. Then I've got the fuel line going in this plastic conduit. Here we have this heat shield sheath, which means that we can pass it up over the heat shield of the exhaust. It goes up over there and runs to the heater. Is up there. Yeah. So I don't know if it's gonna work. I hope it does. We'll see whenever we get it hooked up to a battery. We've got heat, folks. It works. Kinda can't believe it.
How does it cut?
Pretty smooth.
Just cleaning the floor. Bottom.
We just put it on the grass, cut out the rough shape.
Ouch.
Okay.
It's like...
It burns a little.
It burns.
And then we put it in upside down, cleaning the bottom. Then we're gonna flip it. Then we're gonna cut it more exactly.
This is linoleum.
Linoleum. It's made of linseed oil.
Yes. Natural. And this is from some school. So it's reused as well. And here just a little recap what we put in the floor before. This foam, Reflectix foam kind of stuff in the creases, and then we put 1/4 inch cork on there. And then we put the factory floor back in, and now this linoleum as kind of like an extra water barrier.